Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Rough Around the Edges, brought to you by Roughneck Games. I'm Joe, and with me again are Jarv.
Hello.
Dan.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey, and Dane.
Hey.
All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit about indie games in a little more detail, since
Indie games.
they have really kind of risen up and they've become somewhat of an influence on how we play now.
Yeah,
our gaming.
True. And they're a significant part of the gaming industry at this point.
Yeah. So,
Again.
I mean, what do you think of that? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's been a benefit?
Yeah, I don't think that it really detracts or like, I don't know how it would be a negative, really, in my mind. There's more options out there, and they're affordably priced, and some of them suck, but some of them are gems, and you can truly appreciate. You can buy, like, I don't know, 20 of them and be the cost of a serious AAA game.
Yeah,
So.
on a Steam sale, you get $5 back.
True,
They
but
pay you $5 to buy 20 games.
Game.
but one negative is that you get kind of an oversaturation of the market with that many indie games being out there. So if you're as a developer, like, you might not be, making as much money as you might want to, because there's so many indie games out there.
That's true.
Yours might not get noticed or will get passed over unless it's like that top tier one that everyone is touting and saying is spectacular.
I guess I was just taking the perspective of a consumer, but yeah, that makes sense.
Good games are good games.
As a consumer, I love it. The options are out there.
I mean, if it chips away at some of the AAA gaming companies and their sales, and they don't produce great big games anymore, then we're going to lose out on all those great AAA titles. But I don't think that's going to be the case, obviously, or has been.
Well, they better up their game. I mean, like Assassin's Creed Unity, and Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
They released for the PC. Like, they refunded it because it was broken.
Yeah, they released it really buggy.
Yeah, so
That's super sad.
Didn't that happen with SimCity, the newest one? Like, it was really buggy when it first came out.
Yeah, but they didn't refund it. They what they did was it used to require that you were online, and that whole system was just fucked up.
Uh-huh.
And so they eventually went our bad. Like, after a long time, I want to say a year, but I'm probably off. After a long time, they were just like, okay, you can play offline, and you don't have to play with other people.
Oh God,
That's happened with so many games, though.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
can't
why
force
that
that
needs to
stuff.
be anything.
And it wasn't even like a DRM type thing. It was like, we want everyone to be together and
that's just annoying.
be able to make cities together. It's like, stay the hell away from my city making.
What was that game that we played a long time ago? Well, not a long time ago, a couple of years ago, that you had to log in online, which was such a pain in the ass, but it was like was it like a...
Is this an FPS?
No, it was a real-time strategy.
Oh.
But you were like building your home city at the same time.
Oh, it was
Stronghold?
Was it
there was
Age
Stronghold
of Empire?
Online, and then Age of Empire Online.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what it
yeah.
was.
Oh,
Empire.
yeah.
Age of
They
Empire.
had like some kind of
not-
sort of MMO, but not.
Right.
What's Stronghold? What is...
That's like a castle builder.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
The one where they did like
You mean Stronghold
Crusades
Kingdoms.
and stuff like that.
Or are you talking about the...
Oh, you're
the
talking about Kingdoms. Yeah.
Kingdoms, or are you talking about just Stronghold?
Yeah, I think that's
Stronghold
was-
games.
yeah.
You were
Where-
talking about-
Where
He
there's
said
like a
Stronghold.
million things all over the place.
God. I sunk so much
Yeah.
time into that game, and then
then I was just-
what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, this is
You
so
guys-
pointless.
You guys all trickled offline and like never came back, and I'm like, I fucking hate myself right now.
Well, that happens with a lot of games, though.
Wait, was
when
it-
you exhaust the
Yeah.
new and innovative content. and It's
Exactly.
like, okay, I should probably move on.
Was
Yeah.
it Stronghold or Age of Empire where you sent your horse messenger or whatever across
Oh,
the
it
map
was
and you can have like
Stronghold.
faster? Yeah.
and
okay,
like,
that's
trying
what
to
that's
pick
what
up
I
the
was
lumber
thinking
and
of.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
God, I was addicted.
You wasted
I
the
was addicted to
resources.
that at a point where I would leave work for lunch just to send out some scouts and then go
Yeah,
back
it took
to work.
hours.
Yeah. Just
Jeez,
kind
that
of
was intense.
kind of in that same vein of type of game, Crusader Kings, I believe, too, is such a spectacular game. That needs to be said. And they keep coming out with
It's so
expansions.
convoluted, man. I think.
Convoluted. It's steep learning curve, but it's fantastic. I mean, Joe, you played it. with Jarvis' brother and I.
Mhm.
Remember when we were Russia and
Yeah, and we took over most of the world, and then I think was that
and then
the time that
Genghis
the
Khan came
Genghis
through
Khan
and destroyed
comes in
everything
and-
because he always does. He's such an asshole.
Yeah.
Think
There's a
you
lot
can
going
have
on in
nice
that
things,
game.
and then you invite Genghis Khan over,
Yeah.
and he just fucks it up.
Yeah, he does. That's his thing.
So the rise of indie games, like the early influences, are kind of interesting. Like some of the major games, like was Braid one of the first ones, or was it the first one? I mean, is there one was earlier?
It was
than
Sure
Braid
there were,
as like
but
a
that was-
breakout indie
yeah.
game.
Yeah, the breakout ones were Braid and I think Fez to some degree, although I never really played it, and Super Meat Boy. Kind
Yeah.
Well,
I
like
never played
when
that one, actually.
when do we think the genesis of indie games? Because there
I don't
have
know.
always
Can't even
been
point- yeah.
games on the PC floating around the universe, right?
That's true. I mean, it's been around for
right.
Consoles took
longer, but-
over in the 90s, like we talked about last time. And then
and 2000s.
and the 2000s, and the big developers took over, right? Is what I mean. Like you're not
Right,
going to get a
right.
game unless it's
Yeah, and then you got to wait
Endorsed.
5 years for like a good game to come
Yeah.
out that you're looking
Well,
forward
but
to.
PC you
Back
could
when
always
they were all
get
boxed.
something.
Yeah, well,
going on.
PC had the
Well, that's where
avenue of
That's where Steam comes in.
you can just make a game and then
Yeah.
people can download it. I mean, that's the internet, and that's
I
why
bet it's the
consoles had to
beginning
go
of-
online.
Yeah, I bet it's the beginning of Steam is when this really exploded.
And
Yeah,
that was
Minecraft
like-
is
And
in
that was
there.
like
2001?
That's
Yeah,
when-
Minecraft is huge.
Minecraft is huge, and
I
it's
think
in
it
there
was
somewhere.
late 90s, early 2000.
Well, it's also for consoles. It's historically back when it was offline. I mean, the upfront cost for a game developer to make all the CDs, boxes, cartridges or
Oh,
whatever
God,
was
The manufacturing.
just too steep.
Right.
That had to have been crazy.
But with the internet first coming, obviously to computers before gaming consoles, it was a little easier
Yeah.
to start getting independent stuff.
Although
out
I mean, it does cost a lot of money to make games, but especially in the 90s, I wonder how many of the games that we saw in EB Games or all those rando stores in the
Media Play.
mall and stuff. That I wonder if we would qualify them as indie games because they're not some powerhouse
yeah, like the
producer, but
Right.
they are these like little side games
I mean,
that
the
sell a couple thousand copies, but they're just gems.
The
Yeah.
definition is blurred.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to.
It's a Witcher quote.
Like a lot of the games I played were LucasArts and Sierra, which are big ones.
Yeah.
right in the 90s.
Yeah.
But there
Well,
has to
they
be
had
stuff
like
around that.
Bethesda had their
Oh,
start
Sierra.
in the 90s with Arena, Elder Scrolls Arena. I think that was early 90s, I believe.
What is that?
It's the first Elder
That's the
Scrolls.
first one.
Oh, it was called
Pre-
Arena. I didn't
Yeah.
remember
Oh
that.
my god. It was amazing. That was one of the games we rented from Video Connection back when you could rent PC games.
So good.
Along with Colonization, I rented that too.
Yep.
But we rented it, and since they didn't have the same security measures that they had back then, you could just copy the manual, and you would be able to just play the game whenever you wanted.
So you only needed the manual. What did you? Need
Yeah,
the manual
like
for?
they'd reference things. You never played games where they reference things in the manual, like they'd have
Oh,
it'd pop up
oh.
and it'd be like, go to page 197 and type the name of the picture of the ship. That's like a Master of Orion
Yeah.
thing they did.
Makes me think of.
But yeah, that was their way of
'Cause you-
keeping people
yeah.
from
it's like a choose your own
pirating
adventure
the
book.
software. Yeah.
Because it just installed the whole game onto your computer. when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
did that,
like they didn't have what they have now. So
yeah.
Well, I think a lot of early games required you to have the CD and to play, even if it wasn't even using it all the time.
I'm trying to remember if that was a CD game.
There was a period.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
right.
true. If it's before that, then
Couple
they didn't really
discs,
do that as
8
much
discs.
with floppy drives.
TIE Fighter, just like 8 floppy disks or 14 or whatever that was.
Yeah, those games. That was fun
Oh,
to see. Early games where it'd be like a couple of floppy disks, and then later games in that era that were 8, 10 floppy disks. It was just nuts. Or even like Baldur's Gate was CDs, but you had 6 CDs, I think.
Yeah,
Right,
You had like
right.
a booklet of them. And the
or
box,
maybe
the
Baldur's Gate
boxes.
2.
Remember how big the boxes were for PC
Yeah.
games?
Oh, yeah.
And the manuals too, and they were awesome.
I
They were
know.
great.
Manuals so good.
It goes back to that Diablo and Warcraft manuals. Those things were just
Yeah.
huge and awesome.
Yeah.
Now you get nothing.
Well, in that same vein,
You just get a sweet game.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting also in that same vein that a lot of indie games modern indie games kind of harken back to play styles of games of that era, though.
That's true.
It's true. Yeah.
They go back to the simplicity of a side scroller. It may be not 8-bit, but kind of styled after 8-bit and 16-bit.
Yeah,
games.
Evoland was that's a more recent indie game, but isn't that what I think that's what it's called? You guys know what that is?
No.
Never played that.
Evoland. No.
I think it's called Evoland.
Is that the one where it goes through like generations?
It goes
of
through the
gaming?
history of gaming
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of graphics and display, and it's a very
Within the
basic-
game?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's great.
Yeah, you start out like super 8-bit Atari,
I have heard of that.
That's creative. I like
Atari
that.
NES, and then
It's
like
a good game.
Sega.
It's probably $2 on Steam.
That probably was difficult to make. I would
Yeah.
imagine. Because
I mean,
you're not
well,
just
your
working
engine,
in like one.
Your engine is changing.
The gameplay
Yeah, I
is
mean-
really simple. I mean, it was obviously like an homage to
Right.
the
Yeah.
That makes
evolution of
sense.
gaming, which is really cool.
Well, the amount of different
it's
art
fun
you
enough.
have to make. I mean, if you have to make 8 versions of everything, or many things, then it's just kind of sounds convoluted.
Convolution.
Convoluted. But I think that's interesting. Is like we were talking about the game where you die all the time, the side scroller.
Braid.
Rogue Legacy.
Rogue Legacy.
Mega
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that.
It has a
it's
very
fantastic game.
simple side scroller type feel. It reminds me of various games from like NES era, but obviously a little more modern graphics and everything. But
Yeah, it's like not quite Symphony of the Night complicated, but it's like not as simplistic as like Mega Man. It's somewhere in between, and you die all the time, and it's got all kinds of fun little effects. Like every generation, you eventually can like pick between 3
some sort of
heirs, and they all have
deformity.
weird things going on with them, like they're colorblind or they walk up on the ceiling or something like that, or everything.
Or they see everything upside down.
Yeah, they see everything upside down.
I think part of it, obviously, the reason they go with sort of similar styles is because those games would tend to be easier to make. With indie game developers having access to, not the great technology or the giant workforce that you get with a AAA game.
Yeah,
So a lot of it's
like
capability.
or the I mean, it's like a lot of sprites and stuff like that. It's not the ridiculous art that you get with like a AAA title. Like I remember listening to like Blizzard podcasts, and they were talking to the artist of even Diablo 2, and he was talking about like basically all this concept art that he drew, and then eventually made into, and that was sprites, and he made into just like some forgettable mosquito monster in Act 3 because Act 3 blows, but like they get these extremely like top tier talented artists to come in and do amazing things. Like if you look at concept art for AAA games, it's just it blows my mind. Like how awesome it is.
And I finished StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void recently since that came out, and you get to the end and they roll credits on games like that, and it takes like forever. At least they give the ability to speed it up.
It's more people than it takes to make a movie.
It's like they're listing like 1,000 people, and Braid was one guy, Super Meat Boy was 2 guys, right? So there's obviously that.
Yeah. But that's only like one facet of a game, and so indie games, while they're limited in the man hours that they have available, they can still implement the same creativity and and they can excel in other areas.
Innovate.
That's
in
what
other ways.
I think.
Right.
That's my most favorite aspect of indie games is that it empowers people who have passion for gaming to make a game and release the game and its art in its own way.
Yeah.
And that's really, really cool.
And while the parameters, like the limits, are tighter, of course, than like a AAA game. I mean, you throw enough money at it, you can expand it to whatever. So like their limits are greater, but within that, they are so creative and so artistic. Not just like drawing type artistic, but very clever in how they do things in a much more confined kind of atmosphere for making a game.
Would it be fair to say that every major game company started off as an indie gamer?
If they had a publisher
doubt
that
it.
wasn't them, then no.
Because a lot of them,
but I mean, they started
a lot of them start companies
somewhere.
when they come away, like when they leave another company.
Mhm.
Like they'll leave
These days, yeah.
right?
But like Bethesda, was that an indie game company when it started?
I don't know.
Blizzard
I mean,
released
you'd have to
Warcraft
take a look
1.
at
Were they
their
the-
first game and see
Technically, indie.
what
Like
staff
indie
means
means
self-produced.
they
so if
publish
they had
it
a
themselves,
producer,
right?
like a larger company that said, "Yeah, give us this idea and we'll mass produce it and advertise for it and do all of the legwork on it."
So
after
if
you've made it,
like Warcraft 1.
yeah, I mean that would kind of be. I think Blizzard did all of that
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
Blizzard,
eventually
Bethesda
they
might
got
have
like teamed up
published-
with Activision
Although
and
Blizzard
whatnot or
stuff.
whatever. But
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a good question.
Blizzard is under Viacom, I think, or something.
Right now, it's under Activision.
Now it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's. I guess the question is there a path from indie to
Right.
AAA?
Well, I'm just wondering, you make a game with 5 people, let's say.
Sure.
And then you make it big, make a lot of money. When are you no longer an indie gamer? I mean, when you're...
Yeah, I mean...
There's a transition at some point, and these big companies were not always big.
When
right?
you aren't your
That's
own
true.
publisher, I guess.
When you are your own publisher, yeah.
When
It's
you
just
when
interesting.
you are your own publisher, I think you're indie. Because
Even if you're enormous in making what people would call AAA games, I mean, you're still independent of any producer.
Yeah.
Now we're
it's
quabbling over
it's
terms. and gray areas.
multidimensional. You're your own publisher, and you're not considered AAA. Like you don't have a AAA budget. Like you.
Yeah.
I
You
think
have
you
a-
need
I
to
think
be
it's-
like. I think you
it's-
need to be a tormented artist. That's part of it.
Is that an angsty
Like,
teen?
They would like you to think
Small
so. Sure.
small group,
listening
small
to
budget.
a lot of Linkin Park.
Oh, gross! Just Nickelback all
Wow.
night,
Linkin
Nick
Park.
making
Oh, man.
Nickelback.
making trash.
Nickelback is like I want to go to a trashy bar and get laid kind of music.
I don't even know what Nickelback is, except
Well,
that it's bad.
Oh.
That's what I've been told by others.
I mean,
Well,
to
that's
each
just
their
my
own. But
that's just myopic. That's myopic, Dane.
It has become sort of it went mainstream a bit in kind of popularity, and they did, I guess, and then it's for some reason become sort of a punching bag for various people.
what Nickelback?
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
You know what?
I was just explaining the source. Of
I
that.
think
my
the
view.
lead singer of I could be wrong. I think the lead singer of Nickelback has like a ridiculously high IQ. He's like Mensa,
Wow.
and stuff like that.
I reject
And-
that with no knowledge.
and basically he
check,
found
fact
he basically developed a formula to make just music
Millions
that
of
people would
dollars.
love.
He's just
Wow.
an idiot savant that only knows 4 chords on the guitar.
Yeah, and he knows
Hey.
that people will
works.
love it and buy it and play it.
Hey, in
play
the
it
Fallout
trashy
4
bars.
perks, if you're an idiot savant, you have more intelligence than if you max the intelligence tree.
Yeah.
Or like the effects
You just
of,
keep it,
Yeah.
which is
really low.
insane.
That's nuts.
That is pretty interesting.
Oh man, sorry I asked that question.
But to
All
bring
right,
it
enough
back
about
around, though,
No,
the-
enough about the indie games. Let's talk more about Nickelback.
to bring it like
Probably
what I was saying before, though, is they do have limited access to large groups and money, but the technology for indie gamers has improved vastly.
Yeah.
Over
For
the last
sure.
couple of
Definitely.
decades, the availability of old game engines or even new game engines that are free for use or small use, like Unity, tools and powerful computers, everything keeps getting better and better.
What
I
a
still
great What
Sorry.
a great aspect though of this real quick. Mostly through you, I think I've learned this, Joe. It's so great that everything's open source and everyone works together too.
Yeah.
I think that really helps facilitate a creative atmosphere for gamers.
Yeah, there's so many options.
It's so great that everyone's open like that.
Like if you want to make an indie video game by yourself, you can go out there and find all the tools you need to make it.
Even
Yeah.
code, right?
Yeah.
There's just code out there that you can.
Yeah, and there's a lot of free source to art code. There's open source
Why do you-
public.
Why do you think that is? Because I've always kind of struggled to understand how that, like,
Why they do that?
Unity, for instance, it's like that's such a powerful piece of software, and,
Right. Well,
and
they
you
make
can use
money-
it for free, and
But-
it's just like,
But if you make money
thank
with
you.
it,
I mean, that's awesome. And
It's
yeah,
just-
sure,
it's genius, though,
sure,
because
it's
if you
like a
make money
subtle
with it-
investment, but it's still, I mean, shit,
Well,
I don't. It can't.
they
be,
do a lot of they have to do a lot of tech support for people that are using it for free, so it's probably
Right.
a big expense. But they're also getting their
and all the
brand
downloads.
out there,
Like, I mean, how
crazy.
many times is that thing downloaded?
Yeah,
Well,
if you
that's
don't
crazy.
use it for free, they you have to use their splash screen, so that gives them credit, and then other
If you
people
do use
see
it for
that.
free.
Sure,
And-
but if they sold it for like $50, they'd probably have almost just as many users. At least the ones that would be worth their salt.
Oh, so you're
So-
saying that even
Like-
they'd probably cut out
Yeah.
a few.
I
good
mean, I
portion
love
of
it,
people,
and
but-
I think it's super generous. It's just,
But that's
it's
not
so
how they make the money.
It's so rare that you see something like that in the world today.
It is-
Yeah.
it
How
is
it's also
capitalistic it is.
it's also it's sound business though, because if you make over $100,000 or whatever it is, you have to pay for the hardware or for the software, and it's not cheap. But
correct. But I'm also saying that the people that, well, I guess you can stumble upon gems and stuff like that, but the people that would actually make money with it are the people that would also pay a small fee for it.
Yeah.
And
I suppose.
So you're leaving money on the table.
But it's obvious they've grown a lot. I mean, Unity has. So obviously their business is working.
And I love it. And I just don't fully understand it.
I agree with you. It makes me suspicious. It's one of those things where there's got to be a catch or something. Like, no one's this nice. No one's this altruistic.
They're hoping that you succeed so they can make money.
Yeah.
Aren't there?
It's refreshing.
I get it.
It's
I like
refreshing
it.
It's
take.
great.
I think
it's great.
The world could benefit from that.
And more
as a model,
exactly,
in every industry.
But there are other tools out there for
not
3D graphics and art that are free no matter what. I mean, it's not hey, you make
Blender and make human
X money, then you have to pay. Yeah, like all those are free, open source software. Even Office software like OpenOffice or LibreOffice. It's
two things on this. First, if you get a license for Unity. Are there any additional features they allow you to use?
Yeah, there's a bunch. They recently changed how it works, but
so there is that incentive to buy the license. And also, the one thing that does surprise me about like just the world of open source stuff out there is generally when you think of the internet and gaming, you think of a bunch of absolutely horrible people in that community. Like, I mean, they're the most vocal ones.
Yeah.
Like when you play multiplayer games, they're the ones yelling like racial epithets and
like the 10-year-olds.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hostile environment.
People that play Alliance.
It can be. That's true. It can be really nice. I mean, it can be really nice.
It can be cool. I'm kind of going off of my past experience, like because
Baron's chat. You're going off Baron's chat.
I'm going off.
Oh God!
Just
the filth.
You
just so much Chuck Norris back in the day.
Like the internet and comments and forums and stuff on the internet is just synonymous with a lot of vitriol,
right? Trollers and
so
judgment.
The fact that there is open source stuff out there, and in the gaming community that there's open source things for developers and creators is. It almost seems kind of like an anomaly, but I really like the fact that exists because that's the silent majority. That's like the cool people who are just really
just trying to help
into what's going on.
It's
and the
super refreshing.
The people that are yelling are just the ones who are they're not the ones making things. They're the ones consuming it and then yelling about it.
Yeah. Well, that's a problem with making a forum available to anybody to just come in. There's crazy people out there.
You just got to develop a thick skin.
But
that's why that's one thing I appreciated about ArcAge. Not to get too far off topic, but it was a nice, like the evil people would prey on the nice people, but the nice people had two different means of getting back at them, and so we all banded together.
Send them to jail.
And it created like a really positive MMO experience in the social sense,
and
which
it was fun.
Same with Final Fantasy.
Farmed.
Same with Final Fantasy 14, though. I mean, I felt like that was a really helpful environment as an MMO.
It was a pretty friendly environment.
It was very friendly.
I've noticed like MMOs and gaming and stuff. It is getting more friend. I could be wrong, but I just feel like I'm noticing more friendliness where people are like willing to help out, and they're just really nice. And I think the younger generations are used to like looking for a group of randos for like a dungeon or something like that. Whereas when we started, we were very insular with like Warcraft and stuff. And when other people wanted to get involved, we were just like, I don't know you, go away. Like, so like maybe we were.
Well, no, I think it's inherent to MMOs because one of the ways you need to get ahead is to work with other people. When you need to work with other people, you tend to be nice to them so they'll keep working with you. Whereas if you're just a troll in a forum, you don't need anything from anybody, so you can just bash them all you want.
Right. Yeah,
which is interesting.
And one more thing to add a caveat onto when do you go from indie to AAA? AAA games outsource to various different companies for like sound or art and stuff like that. I think once you start doing that, you're no longer indie. It's no longer all in-house.
That makes sense.
Independent, like
True.
Independent.
Well, I mean, you can still do it as an indie guy. You just hire some local artist to do stuff for you or something like that. But
AAA, that's
He's gone AAA.
You're AAA.
He's gone AAA.
You haven't even
sold
finished your first game. You're AAA.
He sold out. He sold out, man. It's no longer
Learn to draw.
about the craft.
Draw.
You
Draw
sing
your
the
own
music
art.
yourself.
Gosh, you're so dependent, you rich jerk.
Voice everything by yourself or hire them.
And then you
No
have
contract work.
Then you have the Bethesda situation where everyone has the same 3 voices, which is
It still works, though.
That was Oblivion. It's got a little better with Skyrim. And
What was that accent?
Fallout, I've
Though.
seen almost.
It was a
overlap.
very Scandinavian
Yeah, it was interesting.
accent. Fallout, has
Like
been, yeah.
Farengar, his accent. It was just like as a character example. I thought that accent was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Was that the Whiterun?
It was the mage in Whiterun, the
They-
wizard.
I bet they just pulled from all of Northern Europe and Scandinavia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Oh.
what it's supposed to be.
Unity also makes money on their store, I bet,
Yeah.
because they sell all the little snippets
True.
and add-ons and apps and stuff that you can use.
Okay. Well,
Anyways,
what about, since you brought it back up,
Back to Nickelback.
what about like Open Office? What do they
Circular
get?
podcast.
What is Open Office getting?
love.
Because I use the shit out of that,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
get shit from me.
love. Are
there any ads
I don't
on
know.
it
That's a
or
good
anything?
question. They just enjoy doing it, I guess.
Are there ads? I don't think there are ads.
I have
think
no
there are any
idea.
ads.
I've never used any open source Office stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
It's
use
kinda nice.
Open Office.
There's
I've always
sometimes
been
limitations
provided
and
that stuff
but-
in my.
Yeah.
Well,
field.
yeah, but that's true. I used to be able to just get it home. I probably still could, and it's really not that bad. But I have a very old version of Office that is so annoying that I just stopped using it. and Got Open Office.
I'm rocking 2016 right now.
Oh,
Grind it.
no.
I
20
can't
how-
even
what?
imagine.
It's
what
like
they
cars
did with
now.
it.
They come out a year
I think
before
it's-
the actual year
I think
exists.
they lend it
Yeah.
out to businesses who
Get your
depend heavily.
Mercedes 2016.
They're trying to push
on
their
February.
cloud crap, so we get all sorts of free stuff, and we just there's some of us
I-
piloting it. It's actually pretty slick,
I
but
can't stand the trend towards put all your shit on some hard drive somewhere,
The cloud
like the cloud, basically.
Right.
It's like leave me alone.
of the cloud.
I don't
the
wanna-
cloud.
Everything
scared
I,
of the
I-
clouds?
everything I get,
You're
I'm not
afraid of
like
the
afraid of it. Like everything I get, I got to go through the options to find everything
Right.
that says like don't do this, don't do that. Like, I mean, I'm not paranoid, but I like knowing where my stuff is. I like it being mine,
And if the internet goes down for an
Right.
hour, you don't just lose access to all your stuff.
yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's like
The
SimCity.
whole
Damn it!
internet goes
Well,
down.
your service provider.
It's
Your
SimCity.
internet service
it's
provider.
Sim City.
It's SimCity.
City. I did.
Wow.
Jeez.
Well, I agree. I mean, I'm not going to put my personal crap up there, but it's great for business because
Yeah, like Dropbox.
There's a
and stuff.
glitch,
Well-
yeah, and then you can just get
And
it
even
anyway.
I mean, you'd even have it on Steam.
Steam,
The Steam cloud. backing up
does
your
it
saved
without
game.
your permission,
No,
Origin does
you
it
can
as
turn it
well,
off.
but with your.
but they don't
permission.
ever
You have to
prompt,
turn it on.
right? You have to go find it.
No, yeah, you have to.
That's
go
true.
for
That's the
Origin,
way of
I
the
think you
world
have to
now.
actively go turn it on, but Steam, you have to actively
Don't
go turn it off.
Ever
Origin. Wow.
talk about
But-
Origin
But see, that's
or
actually,
Uplay. Let's talk about Uplay.
I
I
don't
still-
That
ever
was
wanna
the
talk-
one.
No,
Uplay is the one you had to log into,
oh, it's
right?
so
For
annoying.
Age of Empires?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably.
it's gotten better.
No,
but I had
Age of
a lot
Empires
early
was
problems.
Windows
Games for Windows Live, I
Games
think is
for
what you're
Windows
talking
Live.
about.
Those
Which
are
is-
both just.
That was
At least it's gone.
Yeah. right?
horrible.
It's like having a corporation's balls in your mouth.
You play as a healthy amount of the reason
So
why I
simple,
won't
like
buy
that.
Assassin's
And they just
Creed
played
Syndicate right
racquetball.
now.
See, I think
It's
Uplay's
Uplay.
gotten better just because it started working for me, but I had a lot of early problems.
What has used it recently? Do you remember?
Assassin's Creed?
like the new
Everything
Far
is-
Cry games, I think was some of the ones
Oh,
I've done.
I think you're right. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
my
right.
Far Cry 3 had it. That's a good question.
Not
Dude,
indie.
March.
Not indie.
More
Yeah, I
done
don't know.
recently.
It's released in March, man.
That's crazy.
But
That sucks.
good segue. Steam, I think, is another reason that indie games and the quantity of at
Oh,
least
yeah.
of indie games are
Yeah,
still
agree.
Yep. Yep.
Steam has been
explosive.
amazing. I don't know why everyone in the world just doesn't defer to Steam's
I know.
mastery and
Yeah.
shut the
Yeah,
hell
that's
up.
why Origin
Listen-
was so
listen
up,
amazing.
gosh.
They tried to cash in on it. It's like you're just limiting yourself because Steam.
They're
has-
sticking to
Steam,
it.
Steam is so.
I
I don't know
want
how they
Steam to
pulled
do
it
it.
off, but
Yeah.
they just dominate everything.
Well, you know what really scared me? Again, not indie games, but Steam. So Fallout 4 mods are not on Workshop, and they won't be. I read in an article. They're just going to go through Bethesda.net, who's trying to set up their own similar platform.
Workshop's so great.
That's the
Stop
.net
doing it.
/blow
Just
me.
put it on Steam and let us
bow
all
to the
win.
Gaben.
Yeah. See, that's
It's
actually
so sad.
that's the funny thing. Like with Steam, I've actually found myself like I'll realize I've come to a point where my only like shopping venue is Steam, and then I remember, oh yeah, there's things out there like Origin if I wanted to get an EA game or
Good old games.
good games.
something like that, and it's just
Humble
like
Bundleatis is a nice avenue.
and I feel like maybe I'm missing out on some stuff, but if it was good, I would have heard about it.
No, but
I would
mean,
assume what you're missing out on is like 1% of the gaming industry.
Yeah, and abject poverty probably. Like I
Yeah.
don't know how many more games.
Yeah.
Games right
games I can buy and barely play.
Gonna cut out food this week because I need to buy blah.
I'm more okay with Origin, I think, as a service than I am with, say, like Uplay or Games from Windows Live that come on top of Steam
Right.
after you've already
Agree.
bought the game through Steam
Yeah.
and have the Steam open.
Origin's
Yeah.
pretty slick.
So it's
Origin
like
does it
two
right.
barriers to
I
me
don't
playing
mind
the
Origin
games.
that much anymore. It used to be kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've improved it. But
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I do love that Steam is such a great facilitator for indie games because
definitely.
I mean, you
absolutely.
can go
With
just
their green-
browse on there, and there's some pretty cool stuff that looks really enticing.
and the whole green light system, right?
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
to be working quite well. And the fact that they will sell you games for like $1.
Yeah.
Right.
Just wait
right.
for a
You wait
A
for a
sale.
sale, and it's like, this is $139 for this game. It's like, that's like
buy these 10
Pretty sure
games
that's
for
not real
$5.
money.
Yeah.
That's not a real amount.
That's not a real amount. That's less than a pop.
I
in a
could do that
vending
100
machine.
times,
Shit.
and I wouldn't spend
I
any
just
money.
put 25 games in my car.
Yeah, they're probably paying at least that much just to process your credit card.
That's true.
I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
But
Another thing I won't complain about.
I also like
everybody
the,
broke even.
the early access games. They give a development path to actually
Right.
get free beta testing and or people are
Right.
paying for your game before it's even fully finished.
It's certainly a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
It's true.
It's
Yeah,
tricky.
Endless development cycles.
You're putting a lot of trust in those developers to continue with the project to completion,
yeah,
and a lot of times they
or at least
don't.
or at least hoping that it's in a. What did you just do?
What just happened?
Oh God! I look over there
wanted
and
to see.
Dane's just like biting onto his tea bag.
Just wanted to see what it tasted like. It wasn't that great. It wasn't as bad as Herbal Essence. That does not taste like it,
It was
smells.
like you
Oh,
were
man.
biting a dainty like cracker at a
wanted to
fancy
see.
dinner. You're
Just
just
had to be done.
Have you tasted Herbal Essence?
Scott challenged me once.
Yeah, I remember he did
because
it.
he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes like soap, just like you'd imagine.
It smells
Not
really good.
passion fruit.
Yeah, passion fruit, and then you taste it. It's like this doesn't taste. How do they do
So your tea
screw
bag
you.
tasted like
this? Snozzberries taste like snozzberries.
No, this it just tasted like a
Soap.
piece of paper.
yeah. It's probably because it's
Good
enveloped
old-
in a piece of paper.
Good old paper taste.
So, but
that's great.
early access games, I think you're also banking on the fact that it's
We've
already
gone
in
off
a
the rails, Joe.
state.
Just stop
I'm,
trying.
I'm interested in this. It's already in a state that you're going to bank on the fact that it's already in a state that you're going to want to play it and enjoy it. Like,
Right.
for instance, Left 4 Dead. No, not Left 4 Dead.
7 Days to Die.
Easy.
7 Days to Die.
Oh.
Yeah, but that could go the wrong way. I mean, a lot of people are angry about some of the changes they've made from what they knew and loved.
I suppose. I
Sure.
mean, because it's been in
Oh, it
development
has
for a long
changed
time, so
so
it's changed a
much.
lot since we first played it. But
Bears.
bears, there are
So
bears
much.
now.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Bears.
bears in that game
There's
now?
bears in the
Yeah.
game now.
Oh dear God! Zombie bears?
No,
No,
they're regular
real bears.
Just real bears.
Beats.
There are like
Battlestar
zombies
Galactica.
on fire, which is
Oh
horrible.
yeah,
Zombies
zombies on
Island.
fire. Yeah, it's changed, but
It's crazy.
I wouldn't know. I don't know. I think it's improved a lot since.
Yeah,
No,
it
no,
definitely has gotten better.
I like it. All in all, improvements.
Speaking of indie games that have just, with early access, that have just revamped, Starbound just had a huge combat update.
Oh, did it?
Starbound looks
Really?
really impressive.
We
We
should go back to that for a minute.
It's a really
still
fun
got
game. Yeah.
yeah. You do own things
own it
forever.
You guys should
not
watch the
lost
3-minute
ownership.
news video that they released. It's crazy. The
Yeah.
kind of stuff they added in.
Got any
awesome.
examples?
Yeah, it just
does that work?
different weapons. They added like boomerangs, and they had this. There's this one, a bunch of different character folk like models. I don't know. It looked really
Yeah.
different.
Oh, weren't they doing like alien races or something like
Yeah,
that?
I think
when we
they
stopped
might
playing?
have. I don't
They had
know.
some
They
interesting
weren't
races
featuring
in there,
their,
yeah.
their vehicles
Yeah,
now.
birds
the ape
and
race and the
plants.
bird race. And
You can make cars and drive
Ape
around
race,
on the planets.
wow.
Like
What?
some of the weapons were insane. Like If you power up the sword, it becomes double in size, so you can just jump and hit crazy stuff.
That's right.
It is accurate and correct. There was a dude shadow stepping all around with a sword. It looked really
That's
impressive.
pretty cool.
It was impressive.
Wow.
Good indie game, though.
Yeah.
We haven't really mentioned
Interesting.
many specific indie games, I
That's
suppose.
fantastic.
Well,
Starbound.
that's one. We mentioned Breed and Super
Terraria
Meat Boy.
Yeah.
was a good.
Terraria.
Terraria,
indie
very
game.
similar.
Very similar.
I mean, like Starbound is
That
basically-
also has seen huge upgrades since we last played.
I loved Terraria. So
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's a great
Well,
game.
I mean, they're similar style. They're more
Sir
like a
Reginald
2D
Distill.
Minecraft, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
you could say
then
that.
they're all they all have an element where a lot of it's crafting
Right.
and whatnot. But
None of us really got into Minecraft. I don't know.
No.
why.
I
never
I
did.
played it a couple times.
It was
but-
okay.
Yeah.
I played it a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like if you put a system like that in a zombie game, it's better.
Well,
So,
and
7
and
Days to
7
Die.
Days looks way better than Minecraft, which is
Well,
terrible.
Minecraft was
yeah.
a zombie game.
Well, it's
at
a
night,
style. Well, that's true. There's zombies in it.
It's
Well,
a
shit.
style. That's just covering up
Yeah.
shitty art.
So anybody that makes an 8-bit game nowadays, like in that style,
Well,
Mahjong
you're
or
just
whatever that guy's name is
cheating.
going to take umbrage with you.
oh, dude, I have nothing to say to him. He has succeeded in ways that are beyond my comprehension.
Yeah. He's beyond everything.
He's beyond
Frylock.
everything.
who are you talking about?
I can't remember his name.
Mahjong is a game.
I know because I said that humorously because I can't remember his name. It's like Myung Yang.
I don't know.
Myung.
Kim Jong Il.
He's not. It's not an Asian name, even though that's what I
I
keep
didn't know
saying.
he made games.
Yeah,
Kim
certainly sounds like
Jong
an
Il
Asian
made
name.
It's not an Asian name,
Kim Jong Un.
but it
I thought
sounded
you-
exactly like. An
I thought
Asian
you
name.
knew the creator
I
of
just keep
Minecraft.
saying-
That's who I assumed you were talking
Yeah,
about.
his name. It starts with an M. It's
Okay.
it's like a.
You're talking about the creator of Minecraft.
It's
That's what I thought he meant.
it's
Oh,
a
okay.
user tag. Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Thank you. That answers my question now.
Martin Freeman.
Now I'm gonna look it up because
Martin Freeman.
Martin Short.
Martin
Morgan
Freeman.
Freeman's brother?
Yeah, I do respect
or
Minecraft,
the guy from the British Office or the Hobbit.
but I agree with you. I would play 7 Days. How about I'm going to throw out some indie games that I think will get some chatter. Castle Crashers.
Oh my god,
Oh, man.
We did have a lot of fun with that.
That
Dude,
is
that
played
game
that on
is so
console.
good.
that is still
Talk
all
about
over
art. Like that was brilliant.
Yeah,
That
was
is
a lot of
still
fun.
all
Yeah,
over
but it was,
Steam, and
it
they
was
haven't really added
fairly
anything.
simplistic, but stylistically sound.
They made
you
it
know?
really interesting. yeah,
It looked really,
great game.
really good, but it was
Your
you know,
weapons
just
were
a bunch of
stored
solid
inside
colors.
of a giant snake. And
Very
And
Battletoadsy.
Deers that the deer that shot
the
out.
deer that
All
the deer you
legs.
rode that shit
Yeah,
as propulsion.
Yes,
that was pretty
very clever,
impressively disgusting.
creative.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't. I loved that game, but
Bathroom
there was
humor.
a little bit of like,
Creative.
I don't know why, but like bathroom humor. Every once in a while, it's all right. Like the dick joke I made,
Yeah, they didn't overdo it.
but like, yeah, I don't know. They had like the bear shitting in the back.
The
Oh,
deer
they
like
did have
shits
a lot of
away.
that.
The deer
when it's
shitting-
screen.
I forgot.
Just shits off screen.
and they,
Like that's its
Yeah, they did that a lot.
propulsion.
Well, it was
and
it was thematic.
though it's not
then.
toilet humor. The cat with the hairballs gross me out. But anyway,
Aren't you
overall,
a huge fan of South Park? Like, I'm surprised that you're not like a toilet
I
humor.
do not like Mr. Hanky. I never liked any of those episodes or anything like that.
Oh yeah, that was always just disgusting.
Yeah, it's just
Oh, it
gross.
was hilarious.
And
Lemmy Winks.
I am a huge fan of South Park. Lemmy Winks has a theme that
Well, the bear and the deer shitting was kind of thematic then.
Wow, challenges. Lemmy Winks.
all right. I
They
will,
accuse me of going bass to mouth.
That's pretty good.
I love that show.
oh my god, Leslie.
Oh, anyway.
I will make concessions. Like I loved Castle Crashers, even though that stuff was in it. But like, I look at that and I'm like, okay, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean,
trying
some
to
people
RP it,
probably
just
thought it was.
shattering
I
hilarious
was
the whole
trying
time.
to RP
He was trying to RP
Castle
it.
Crashers. I had to save the
I
king.
can't play a role in this world. I'm out of it.
Save the king.
Took me out of the story.
I had to save
And
the king.
everything
There's a
shitting
bear
everywhere.
shitting in the woods. What is this?
Really takes you out of the element.
I know.
I also don't like seeing things
Yeah, I mean,
excrete on Adventure Time. All right, it just takes you right out.
Oh god.
That was in Mario. It'd be a different game.
Well,
I enjoy clever humor.
Well, some people probably enjoyed it, and it's just a matter of opinion, I suppose, as is, all of this is.
What I consider a pretty high production game, Path of Exile is technically an indie game, right?
Yeah,
I think it was,
Was it?
originally just
Yeah.
5 guys. right?
grinding gears.
Really
games.
amazing.
I don't know how they pulled that off.
Oh, dude, their
'Cause
tech
it's-
tree alone is unreal.
Oh yeah.
It's so
my
creative and,
God, yeah.
and it looked beautiful. I mean, it's not like state of the art, but it looked great.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did.
And it's
Really
like
good, though.
everyone
And it's not like Diablo
everyone
1.
refers to it as like what
Nowadays.
Diablo 3 should have been, and I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
So.
We booted that up
How
recently.
did they-
That was fun.
Speaking
It's
of-
a
Oh,
good
did you really?
It was
yeah.
maybe a summer,
Briefly, it was
a couple
fun.
months ago. I don't know.
Path of Exile?
Yeah,
Yeah, just dabbled.
it's pretty
But
interesting.
I have no concept.
Diablo 3 is another game where they had issues on release for a bit.
It's used. Yeah, I remember you and I, Joe, were trying to log in
On like the midnight
at
release or
midnight,
something.
and it was error, whatever that error was. It turned into a meme because it was.
Wait,
It
for
did.
what?
For
incredible.
Diablo 3 when it
Diablo
first
3,
came out.
right.
Because the server,
Yeah.
I mean, as much as you stress test a server, and all of a sudden you get like a
Just couldn't handle it.
multi-million
100 million,
inundation
yeah.
at the same time. It's
And-
like you can't handle that.
Remember the auction house? That was a great
It's
idea.
gone now, right?
Never forget Blizzard. We'll never forget.
I
It
never
works in World of
I didn't
Warcraft. It
really-
works in every game.
Well, I think it was
I
the
knew a
inclusion
guy
of
who
the real
made
money.
thousands of dollars on that.
Yeah.
And
they
he
get it.
lied
Just
to
sell
you.
stuff.
He probably did. Kind of seemed like a douche.
Oh, I assume
I don't
it
have to go to
works.
work. I'm just going to play Diablo 3.
Well, I mean,
Bullshit.
It's a legal means to do the same thing that people were doing in WoW and still probably do.
Yeah.
with
That's
selling
true.
He did it in
characters
Diablo.
and-
I'm just
2
jealous,
as well.
really.
Gold
That's- that was
farming.
legal.
The honest truth is I'm jealous of all
Yeah,
those people.
It's like I wish I would.
It takes the fun out of it.
It takes time, though. I mean,
Becomes work.
you go to
yeah.
work and make more per hour than you probably would if you farmed
More
stuff
than I
for-
would, yeah, but I'm sure there are people out there that
Stones
Well,
of
that's
Jordan.
why-
somehow make
like,
more than me with
know,
their playing video games.
I mean, that's the whole reason.
Yeah, but
like
they're-
farming is so
but
big in China.
Can't people in
you know?
Eve just make shitloads of money?
Yeah,
You can sell Plex.
and then
if
they
you
get
have a ton
killed
of
in
money, right?
Benghazi.
What?
Oh yeah, that happened.
Where did that come from?
The ambassador
guys
dude
that-
that got killed. One of the dudes that got killed in Benghazi was like a huge dude in Eve.
Yeah, he was in a.
Was
like,
that
a
the
giant
reason he was
guild.
killed?
No. Well, but yes,
no,
but
I'm
the whole
pretty
Benghazi
sure there's
event
some
happened.
geopolitical things going on.
The Libyans want access to our imagination.
Give us all your isk.
He blew up their giant ship.
No,
that they
but yeah,
killed
that guy
for it.
was
Side quest: kill this guy for real.
Oh man,
Yeah,
Where's this coming
that's
from?
back to Life, the video game.
Yikes. Back to life, the video.
It's like if Hogger was real.
where
it's
tragedy is
in a console.
horrifying.
Hogger. Hogger. That's a throwback.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
Hogger. If you play Alliance side, which I don't think I ever really made it past like level 12 on Alliance. So
I'm
That's why I
familiar
only
with
know
how.
Why
Hogger.
would Why would you want to?
Yeah. Oh God.
Puppies and sunshine.
I tried a few
Join the-
times, and
join
there
the
was
horde.
one time I did go to Endgame as Alliance, but I immediately stopped and was like, "Oh no,
what have I
I
done?
feel so unclean."
What have I done here?
You're just playing around with children. Like it's just
They're not all children, but they act like children in a vast majority. But Horde,
like
I mean,
everybody in the
Horde has
Barons
its fair
does
share
too.
of-
So
Yeah.
it's all just
no. Baron's chat was a wealth of intellectual stimulation.
that's true.
And-
There was a lot of progression.
information about Chuck Norris.
We progressed the world through Baron chat. That's for sure.
I think we all ended up
The
somewhere nice with
foundation
that.
of that universe. Oh gosh, trash.
I'm sure there are plenty of children that learned.
Although
a lot of
I got way angrier
interesting words.
in Alliance starting areas than I did in any other place.
Yeah,
killing
that's true.
because the kobolds wouldn't give you their candles.
No, because idiots were idiots and they make challenges about things, and I gotta say stuff back.
I do remember you were the most vocal on
I
like
hated
global
him.
chat,
Yes.
and stuff like that.
They're wrong.
Yeah,
I'm correcting
I know.
children. Gosh. I guess that's fitting based on my current
yeah.
life
That's kind of what you do.
I always just took the route of usually if you're useless to me, so I just turn off the general chat.
you took your WoW experience and turned it into
that
a
was the
career.
impetus for my life now. No one can be that stupid ever again. Not if I can help it.
So I think that's interesting that we've talked about advantages in a little bit, but I mean, what other advantages or disadvantages, obviously, are pretty obvious, of AAA versus indie. But AAA, there's some things that indie games can do that AAA can't do. Like they can move a lot faster and pivot as a small business. For instance.
Yeah, I think that's an advantage in general for small businesses is that they can
indie
redirect as a smaller ship. But I think in my mind, not being at all involved in that, so I can't really say from experience or anything like that. But because I'm not internally a part of any of that, but I feel like having a smaller amount of people collaborating on a vision would result in a more cohesive product than when you have all these other moving parts.
It's easier to manage, yeah.
And there's aspects of creativity that you can't really explain in words sometimes. And so when you are divvying up all the tasks to 300 different people, things get lost, I would imagine, is why sometimes you just see these great indie games that look and feel great, and yet only like one person worked on it.
Yeah.
Whereas you'll get a lot of AAA games that are just disjointed and just not a fluid experience.
Poorly managed.
That makes sense to me. I like that. This might be a romantic vision of what I think indie gaming is, but I like the idea that when there is a smaller ship, a smaller group of people, or one person, there's probably less compromise to, tiptoeing around issues.
Yeah, they take risks,
to worrying about
or they can.
Societal concerns or reception. Obviously, they want it to do well and sell well, but at the same time, they have this vision that you mentioned that is the driving force, not money or keeping their jobs. And not that AAA games all reflect this. I mean, a lot of them are amazing, but I would imagine there's incredibly large amounts of red tape and bureaucracy to deal with that compromises the integrity of the game. And
you always have
that's
to be...
why I like indie games. It makes it charming and raw.
Yeah,
and that's great.
And with the AAA game makers, they have to be cognizant of: are we alienating any part of our player base?
They have the board is probably on their ass to meet the quota, and like the one guy who's barely surviving off of noodle cups in his apartment. All he has to do is make this thing because that's what's consuming his soul. That's going to be a very raw and real product.
Yeah, they're not going to make a game that just bashes young teen males.
Yes,
their entire player base.
I hope not. It doesn't sound fun.
It doesn't make sense.
Quick update. His name was Notch. I was slightly off.
Is this Minecraft?
The Minecraft
or
guy.
Is this the Nickelback Headman?
And the first article, that came up when I looked was from CNN Money, and he seems extremely depressed. He made $2.5 billion.
He looks really sad about it.
Selling Minecraft to Microsoft, and he made a bunch of tweets that are just very quote unquote melancholy, such as the problem with getting everything is you run out of reasons to keep trying and human interaction becomes impossible due to imbalance.
Jeez.
Wow.
That is really get your ass out of your house, Mayo.
Give me some of it, you little crybaby.
He apparently 23,000 square foot mansion Beverly Hills for $70 million, reportedly outbidding Beyonce and Jay-Z. Another one of his uplifting tweets: hanging out in Ibiza, I don't know, California, with a bunch of friends and partying with famous people, able to do whatever I want, and I've never felt more isolated.
What a freaking go right!
Well, it's always greener on the other side, right?
Yeah.
That guy's so full of shit.
That is not how. Go travel the world.
Maybe
nerds.
You shouldn't have made that shitty game.
Money can't buy you love.
Oh, gee, I made $2.5 billion.
I just isolated
now it's time
a lot
to feel
of people.
sorry for myself.
I just isolated us. I don't know. People like Minecraft. I can see its charms, but I just never got into it.
So what is the point of bitching about feeling isolated in a tweet to a bazillion people?
Yeah, I don't know what he wants.
Cry for help.
What does he want?
It's how many?
I don't know. He's depressed because he's got everything, and
obviously he has very little.
He's missing something.
Yeah,
I think that
that
2.8 billion could have gone towards some therapy or something. Maybe that's who he should be talking to about these things.
He can afford it.
Maybe make some friends that he can.
And he's in California.
Just pay them beer.
He's in California, and everyone there is in therapy. Whether it's
sounds like
don't cry about it to the world and just pull your pants up and go to work.
What do you want all of us who don't have $2.8 billion to do about your problems?
Well,
he should go to some random monastery and meditate for like a year and then come back and be
So maybe that's
centered.
Go Nash Ram.
disadvantage of being a
advice.
successful indie game maker.
Sorry, Nash.
You become
versus
isolated
a-
from the world
a
because
salary
everyone loves what you've done.
yeah. Versus a guy that is an
It
artist
doesn't make any sense.
at a video game
That's all I'm
company that
saying.
makes his salary.
It's
Yeah.
it's
It
it's
does
what you were
sound-
talking
Not
about. He was
$2.5
listening to
billion.
way too much Linkin Park.
It was
he was
angsty.
he was angsty and
So
no.
angsty.
I'm sorry, Notch.
I liked it better when not
I
everybody
feel
loved
like
it.
I feel like it almost has to be like a marketing thing. Like,
Maybe.
how could he possibly feel that way? And if he does, why would he talk to the world about it? Talk to
Yeah.
his therapist about it.
Because they listen.
How old is he? How old is that guy?
He looks like he's kind of late 30s.
What? Shut up.
Oh my god! Just do whatever you want and love it.
That's not okay.
Buy yourself some friends. Who cares?
Just be a human.
I'll
Go to
be
the
your
park,
friend.
Buy a dog.
I'll
Yeah,
be your
I'll-
friend.
I'll-
like
be your-
50,000
for
things.
10
to do.
million.
Can we do
$10.
like Entourage or
Hey,
something?
he can be a guest here. We'll talk to him about it.
You're kind of a chubby
Send
guy.
him a-
I'll gain
send
some
him a
more
twit-
weight and make
twit
you
him
look
up.
good
Yeah.
by comparison. And
Hey man, you can come on our show for 10 million.
We'll be
you
you
hang
won't be
out with
isolated
10
for an
million.
hour.
You
Guess
give
what
us
we
10
have?
million.
Not isolation.
Yeah.
Come on over. Meow meow meow.
You can play a
No.
board game with us, and
What's his name again?
We'll see if you can play another one or if we're going
Windex.
to kick you out.
Yeah.
Mushu.
We'll draw 2D squares on a screen and it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. All right, so I guess that covers that.
Oh,
topic.
Wow.
I'm sorry, guy.
Man,
I'm sorry you
I don't even
suffer.
know where that came
I
from.
know.
don't
I
understand.
No,
I
it's
actually
all-
feel bad for this guy.
I
That
do
he's
too.
you know
It's
he's probably just got like depression and stuff. But
We
I
will
don't
co-
feel bad for him for a minute. Are you kidding me? All right, let's. No. Wow.
Arquadded.
Oh, is it
Arquadded.
Oh my gosh.
Arquad-
random question of the day? So keep it as simple this time, and we kind of referenced this a little bit, but I would like to know whether my relationship with this is a love and hate. Steam sales, whether you love them more or hate them more for what they do to you.
That's good. That's good.
I personally love them more.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you use them.
Yeah.
If you're just waiting for that and then it allows you to buy a game that is great, but you wouldn't have otherwise bought, that's great. If you're, an addict and you're spending all your savings and you can't stop, then maybe that's not a good thing. But.
Yeah, I love it because I fear it.
Yeah.
Because
like God.
fear what's gonna.
So are you like when a Steam sale's approaching, are you like excited or are you anxious?
I'm pretty excited. In the past, these days, I'm very excited. I actually like it a lot these days because I'm much more responsible with money, and I'm an adult now, I guess, so it's fine.
No, you're not.
And I like it because things come up, and I have a wish list, so Steam communicates to me when the game
the
I
wish
want is on
list
sale.
is-
Yeah.
yeah.
That is
So
nice.
Good way
blah
to do
blah
it.
blah is 80% off. That's great. I'm all about it. Let's do it. That is actually when I take the opportunity to explore indie games. Take advantage of that.
Yeah, you can get some of them for,
$1.99,
like,
$4.99,
99 cents.
$9.99. Yeah,
There's a game.
and just kind of take that risk because it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's also what I think is really clever on their part, and it helps with my rationalization. They do it around the holidays, so there's going to be one coming up for Christmas soon.
Mm-hmm.
I always I don't really budget, I guess, but I rationalize that it's Christmas time, so I'm going to get myself a present, and I have $100 to spend on Steam.
Right.
And that's great because on a
a good
Steam
way to do
sale,
it. Limit
that's a lot
yourself.
of money.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And then I don't buy games that much throughout the year. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because
right.
I picked up everything I want, and that's
Yeah.
going to hold me over.
It can be frustrating when you see a game you own on a Steam sale and it's
Yeah,
just
totally.
like
Yeah.
a eighth of what you paid
I
for
paid
it
$60
like a
for that.
year
$60
ago,
and
and
this
you're
is
just
$10
like,
now.
oh,
Like,
how'd that happen?
There's a Diablo-esque kind of action RPG, that isometric kind of game that it seems sort of indie.
What's it called?
I mean, it's called Victor Vron.
I've not heard of that.
And
I think I've seen
It
that.
seems very interesting, and it was on my wish list, and I got a tip that it was 50% off, so it went from like $20 to $10. And I just thought that, like, I didn't buy it, but I was just like, like, I appreciate knowing that it was that
Yeah,
much, and it reminded me that it existed, and I was looking at it, and I was like, this seems kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games that relies on, I mean, it's like I said, Diablo-esque kind of thing. yeah, it's fun alone, but you need more people to play it. And it's more fun playing it co-op, and these days that's not always an easy thing to do. So
Yeah.
so I was like,
And they wouldn't do sales at all if it didn't increase their revenue, which is good for the indie games like you're talking about.
Right.
That gets them out there. People like you will go and take a chance on them and stuff. And
Yeah, oh yeah.
it's good for the developers too. I think so.
I agree. So good. Papers, please.
It's good for
oh my
everybody.
God, Papers, Please.
Oh, wow.
That's
What
an
am I talking about
amazing game.
How about the not to interject there, but
I was done.
the mini game that they did. I don't remember which Steam was it. The last winter sale where it was.
Oh,
that
yeah.
goddamn
the click-
robots.
That was
you're clicking.
this summer. I
I,
think.
Was it the
I
summer?
look
think it
forward
was.
to that shit.
That was
Just random
interesting.
fun.
At a certain point, I was like, I want to shoot myself for doing this.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was not.
It was ridiculous.
Not
I mean,
a
when
good-
you think about it, they all unlocked every day. It was right. Like you get
Yeah.
new sales. Depending on
I think only one day they didn't unlock the last one.
Right.
really.
Yeah.
yeah. I was just
See,
like, and yet I was there, like clicking like a madman.
Yeah.
What you do
And
is
then
you,
I was gaming the system and trying to figure out how I could just leave this up with the auto attacks the whole
Right.
time,
yeah,
but make them super powerful.
see what you do is you get yourself a Logitech mouse, and then you go and you make a macro, and you just leave the mouse on the screen, push a button so that it clicks every millisecond,
Yeah.
and you are kicking ass.
Or throw your cat on top of your mouse.
It's just such like a weird thing. Like at first I was like, "Oh, this is sweet," and then I'm like, "No,
Yeah,
get
it
away
really,
from me."
It really
I
did
wish-
become, why the hell am I doing this?
I wish they
Like,
would.
these sales don't justify what I'm doing right now.
right.
I wish they'd spend less time making that stuff and more time making Half-Life 2 Episode 3, maybe.
Oh, sick
Ga-
burn, bro.
Gabe and
Gaben.
Gabe
Yeah.
and
Yeah, Valve is definitely allergic to trilogies for some reason. I don't know what the problem is. Can't do shit.
let's make awesome episodes and then stop making those too. After they teased in episode 2, they teased a connection to Portal because it was Aperture Science was mentioned, and then it's just like, we're done.
You're never
That's
gonna
it.
get
You
it.
never get to see what comes of that.
You sons of bitches.
Someday.
I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe
I know, you
Steam
make so
itself-
much money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe it's gonna be a masterpiece.
Yeah,
and
maybe
they
that's what
just-
that
is.
would be great.
And they just don't care about communicating, which is fine with me.
Maybe it's Fallout 4, but in that universe, and it's just so sexy.
I don't.
Oh God,
I can't even
an
handle
open
that.
world.
Mod your crowbar like crazy.
Oh my
Holy
God! Please let me duct tape things to the crowbar.
That is Fallout 4.
I know.
I can't get enough adhesive. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Jesus, where's all the adhesive?
Oh, you gotta cook. You gotta cook it up, man. You gotta cook it up.
Yeah, you can make it out of
Cook your adhesive.
yeah.
Yeah, you can
Cook
cook
it.
it, but everything's
Seriously?
limited, man.
That's one thing I never did was
need
cook.
more. Dude,
I didn't do any
dude,
cooking.
Psychojet. I am drug addict central. Psychojet is so overpowered. It's so overpowered.
That's funny.
It's insane.
Yeah. I don't do the drugs. Preston gets angry.
Oh, I give Mama Murphy so many drugs, and Preston dislikes
Oh,
that.
Mama
Preston,
Murphy.
guess what? Her business isn't yours. We're psychojetting over here together.
Yeah,
I do
no.
it with her, and I don't even need to do
Mama
it.
Murphy is clairvoyant while on narcotics, and
That's why Preston never gets the nod, because he gets in everyone's business.
yeah, Preston only got
It's a
the
video
nod.
game, Preston.
Preston, go wander the ruins of the city I never built up. Mama Jet and I are shooting up. There's
Yeah.
a reason we don't bring other settlers here. This is my drug den, and you're still here.
Yeah. Can't you recognize this for what it is? Go away.
All right.
That's funny.
Take your colonial duster and your tricorn hat. You freak.
You're dead.
That does it.
You cabbage.
That does it.
You cabbage.
Cabbage. Episode 10. Thank you for listening. Check us out at roughneckgames.com. Bye.
See ya.
We're done? Bye.